You know, some say, I remember when I was a kid, I used to tell my parents, like when I got mad, I'd be like, I didn't ask to be here. Well, and I didn't get to choose my parents, you know, things like that. I didn't ask to be here. But in my case, I did. I did ask to be here. I did get to choose my own family. I had to be born by a woman named Mary. And I remember sitting in heaven next to Jesus and some of the prophets. And it was like he had a screen in front of him, and he would just like swipe. And he picked out a family for me, a beautiful family. They had been praying for a child for a long time, couldn't have one. And Jesus was like, that's a perfect family for you. He said, but you'll be an only child. Well, it seemed like I was in heaven, and I didn't have any other children around me. I don't know why I was able to stay in the area, like in the master's room. Like I was always in there with Jesus and the angels and a couple of the prophets, like the elder angels. And these are memories that I've had all my life, and I've always been afraid to tell this story and a bunch of other ones because I thought people would think I'm crazy. And God's been on me for a long time to tell these stories, because people need to know that God is real. People need to know that Jesus Christ is real. And I'm here to tell you that he is. I haven't finished the story yet. There's more. So just hold on. Let me get this out. And, but ever since that happened to Charlie Kirk, you know, something just set me off. Like, okay, this has got to happen now. And I'm not afraid to die, because I know where I'm going, to heaven. So this is me taking my stand and saying, it doesn't matter what you think, but these are true memories. I'll never be able to forget these. And all through my life, nobody else has had experiences like me or had memories like me. So, with that being said, here's the rest of the story. So, he swiped, and I was like, I didn't want to be an only child. So I seen this other family, a beautiful woman with a beautiful husband. It was on their wedding day, and they had 2 children. I was like, I want that family right there. And Jesus was like, are you sure? They're going to be very poor, like really, really poor. And I was like, I don't care about money, Jesus. I don't care about money. You know that. And so he was like, okay, if that's the family you want to be with, okay. And so him and all the prophets got together to plan out my story. Like all the things I'll have to go through. I guess my family had a lot of sin and a lot of generational curses in the family. So they had to plan out my life, all the things that I would have to go through. So basically I had to go through everything the other prophets that went through in order to, because Jesus wanted me to find my way back to him. Ultimately, that was the goal. To come here, complete my mission, and to make it back home to him. So they had to plan out. He was like, man, she's going to have to go through so much pain. She's going to have to go through so much. I'm afraid she's going to forget. I'm afraid she's going to forget. So there's always been certain scriptures that stuck with me ever since I was a little girl. One in particular is the scripture, I don't remember where it's at. It's in John, where it says, my peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. That verse. And that stuck with me ever since I was a little girl. So the mission part I'll leave for another video. So anyways, I was ready to go. I remember like being in between the gate to heaven or to earth and heaven, where I was talking to Jesus, and he was like, okay, it's time to go. He gave me a few messages, which again I'll tell you in another video. But anyway, I left. I remember entering, like going down the slope into my mother's uterus. Like I remember sliding through her, from her ovaries down the fallopian tubes, and sticking to the uterus. I remember being in the womb. I don't remember being born because I was a stillborn, so they had to fight pretty hard to bring me to life. But I remember being a baby. I remember certain like just weird things, like just little things, like being a newborn. I was like a week old, and I remember like being in my uncle's arms. I remember my parents being in the kitchen cooking, and I remember having to have my diaper changed and everything. It was just, I have all these memories. And I do remember this, that I remember praying to God. I kept having visions and dreams from God. He would give me visions and dreams to remind me of my mission when I was younger. And I would always pray to him and ask why my parents didn't love each other the way I experienced love in heaven. And he would always have me have dreams. You know the scriptures about leavened bread? Well, that's kind of what kind of dreams I would have. Like the leaven, it will start small and like spiral like a snowball and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what it was. It was just overlaps of sin and sin and sin throughout their lives. Generational curses and like sin through the family for like generations. So yeah, I would always have visions about the end times. I would have visions about the future. God will give me like little details on how to protect my family and how to kind of lead them, guide them. And they were afraid of me. There was one incident that made them very afraid of me, and that was when I had dreams of my family members that had passed on. And we were going through, I think I was like 10 or 11 at this time, and we were going through some old photos or whatever, and I picked out a couple, and I was like, who is that? I know that person. Well, she ended up telling me, oh, that's my stepdad. He passed away and he's gone. And I was like, I met him, and I remember seeing him, and he was all happy, wanting to say hey, you know. And I went and walked, and he was like, get in my lap, and I got in his lap and everything. And I told her all of that. She freaked out. She went to my dad and was like, oh my God, there's something wrong with her. Like she's seeing my stepdad and blah 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 blah. He abused her really bad. Is the reason why she freaked out. She thought I was seeing him like in our house. And then so we left our house and stayed at my grandparents' house. And I think they specifically put up a photo on the wall that I've never seen on the wall before. And I seen it, and I was like, I know that person. Who is it? And so I called my dad over, and he was like, there's no way you could have met him. It was like, he passed away way before you was even thought of being born. Same way with my mom's stepdad. And I was like, no, I met him. We talked and everything. Like, we hung out, and I told him details. I don't remember those details now, but I remember the details then. And he kind of freaked out too. He was like white all over his face. So he freaked out pretty bad. And they wanted to get rid of me. Like, they wanted to get rid of me. Like, send me away, get rid of me. And that broke me. That was the biggest incident that took my voice. Like, from then on, I started shutting down and not letting people see the true me. But anyways, this is my stand for Charlie Kirk. I love you guys. Bye.